METRO Backstage. Szenvedéllyel a gasztronómiáról azoknak, akiknek szenvedélyük a gasztronómia.
Különleges adás ez a METRO Backstage számára, hiszen vendégünk a skandináv gasztronómia fiatal, csillaga, a kétszeres Bocuse-bajnok Európa-bajnokság győztese és a kétszeres Bocuse-bajnok világverseny bronzdíjasa, norvég Christian André Pettersen. Christian kifejezetten a METRO Gasztroakadémia meghívására érkezett Magyarországra, ahol szakmai műhelyfoglalkozást tart. Valamint szintén Bocuse-bajnok Dalnoki Bencével készít és kommentál gourmet vacsorát a Gyermekkortól a Bocuse-bajnok címmel. Adásunk a külföldi beszélgető partnerre való tekintettel angol nyelven zajlik, magyar felirattal a YouTube csatornánkon lehet követni a beszélgetést.
But my father always told me when I was young, don't fuck the traditions up. You can be inspired, you can push it a little bit, but don't forget the basic cooking.
METRO Backstage. Beszélgetések trendekről, kulisszatitkokról és érdekességekről, véleményvezérekkel, szakemberekkel és példaképekkel. METRO Backstage.
So let's start. Hello, Christian. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to METRO Hungary. Welcome to Hungary. I was really amazed when you arrived. You were quite confident where to go, how to get to here in Budapest, since this is not your first time.
No,
right?
I've been in Budapest quite some few times now, probably my 8th time or something. Really enjoy it. It's a lovely city, really amazing.
As a mise en place, let's introduce yourself, say a few words. One of the most important that you were born in a restaurateur family,
yeah,
right?
So yeah, I'm Christian André Pettersen, born in north of Norway, Buda.
It's not Buddha.
Buda. And I dreamt about Bocuse since I was 9 years old. My father was a chef, also a fisherman. And my mother is from Philippines, so I have this cross between East meets West style. And I've been competing in Bocuse 2 times, 2 European gold and 2 world champion bronze.
Bronze, yeah. We will touch this issue since it's quite important in your life, the Bocuse competition. But first, let's talk about your culinary philosophy, inspiration. What are the points that they really influence your cooking style?
You can say that cooking also creates different values the older you get. And I also see my values regarding cooking and the philosophy is the minimalistic. Less is more, but keep it perfect and always make the main thing on the platter or the plate or whatever you do, make it the best as you can. So it's best good products and also just have good influential about experience, travels, how techniques is done, and with good accomplishment like garnishes or sauces.
You mentioned that your father Norwegian, your mother was Filipinous. How is this two heritage comes to your dishes? Do you combine these two types of cooking?
Yeah, I often use Nordic products. That's my main thing. As well, I'm raised in a fisher family, so I really enjoy like fish and shellfish and everything. But I'm really influential about the Asian techniques, how they are doing the things, how they are doing the preparation. Not necessarily like the spices or the vegetables or everything, but mostly like how they are doing the cooking, because they cook on differently ways in Asia as they do in Europe and Europe as they do in the Nordics. So some things you just like include in your cooking, like the dishes. If you have a barbecue, they have this yakitori style. Okay, maybe how can you adapt the langoustine that is perfectly poached as you would do in Norway? But how can you make this essence of barbecue without barbecuing it? How do they do it? How do they glaze it? Is it something you can combine with Norwegian ingredients? That's like how I combine it.
What is your favorite thing in the Asian cooking methods? You're mentioning not the products, mostly the methods, right? You just mentioned the yakitori.
Yeah.
What are the methods what you really favor, you really use a lot?
I use a lot. I'm really inspired by how they barbecue things and how they glaze things. And that's mainly what I'm always trying to do when I do the cooking. But also you have to adapt which type of products you have, because not every product is going good to combine with yakitori or barbecue. Then you have to find something else to do with this. Like
just give me an example.
You know roasted duck.
Yeah.
Roasted duck with some barbecue glaze done on the Asian way with a little bit of soy or ginger. But instead of soy, you maybe use Nordic maple syrup. But you try to combine it, and then you find spices to combine it to do it like a little bit Nordic way, but not like the Japanese or the Asian way. But you use the techniques, what they are doing, and how they make the base of a glaze.
How do you balance the innovation and the tradition in your cuisine?
It's quite hard because it's like doing cooking. You have to respect the traditions, and you can be innovated. But my father always told me when I was young, don't fuck the traditions up. You can be inspired, you can push it a little bit, but don't forget the basic cooking, because the basic cooking is the essence of our heritage. And then you can adapt more and more and more. So what I always tell to young chefs, you always need to know the basics. You always need to know the tradition before starting to do something else.
What is the most important tradition in the Norwegian cuisine?
You know, the Norwegian cuisine is quite simple. It's less products. It's quite minimalistic. You know, Norway is like based on fish and shellfish, what the nature provides, what Mother Nature gives you. It's a lot of stews. It's a lot of fish dishes. So that's basically typical traditional food. Is like typical potato with vegetables, and then you have the fish, or you have some meat, or you have some meatballs, or you have some stews or something like this.
What is the percentage of a traditional main dish in your country? That how much amount of fish, vegetable consists one plate?
Depends place to place. Like in the north of Norway, you have a lot of access to fish comparing to the south and everything. So of course you have a lot of fish in the north, so you have more fish on the plate than you have potato and garnish as well. But mainly it likes 60-40, maybe 60% with vegetable and potatoes and 40% of meat and or fish, or like this one.
You had this nice word which really rings a bell in my ears, the Mother Nature. I mean, recently everybody talks about sustainability and local ingredients. What are their roles in your life, the sustainability and the local ingredients?
Of course, I always call it like Mother Nature, because what the nature provides is what we as chefs is responsibility to accompany to people around, or the next heritage, or how you cook it. As I told you earlier, you create different value the older you get. And now it's more about the minimalistic, but you have to respect what Mother provides to you, because you can never shape a carrot on a perfect shape. If the Mother Nature provides you with these carrots, okay, you do the best of it. And of course, we're living in a world that will be probably 10 billion people in a couple of years.
A few years,
yeah.
Yes.
And we need to respect what the Mother Nature provides us and do the best out of it.
If you're talking about sustainability, I have to ask you about the famous Norwegian salmon. If you have seen on Netflix a movie about the fish consumption, the fisherman's life, it showed a bad picture regarding the farmed salmons around the coast. How do you see that? Is it really that bad?
As I don't know, because it's well regulated in Norway. And I think if it's a documentary or a reality show, they always show the worst case of it. I think it seems and shows the worst of this industry. But in our place, it's regulated with good rules, and I don't know where the sources comes from or how they check it out, but as far as I know, they have regulated with Norwegian rules and forced to have it like strictly regarding this production.
Do the chefs or HoReCa Association work with these farmers to have sustainable feeding and farming this fish?
Yes, of course. I know they work a lot with it, and also they are certified with FSC, and you have to follow this regulation and rules and sustainability and how it's farmed and how much medicine it is. The Norway has the most clearest and freshest water in the world, and I know it's regulated quite strictly regarding medicine and everything. And I think, every industry has things around. You can see the industry regarding pork or chicken or everything around it, the caviar section, how the foie gras business industry is. And I think people creating this documentary, they want to bright it up and put it in light, but also I think they find the worst case scenarios all over the world doing this one. We cannot take everybody underneath one shovel and say that everybody does it, because I think the professional and good companies, they have really strict rules and they do it on a regulated embraced around them.
If we talk about the salmon, just tell us how a really good high-level salmon looks like, what you have to check, and how should it look like?
Yeah, so it's basically, it has to be a clearer fish, and you have to see like the eyes and the inside the head that is really fresh and it's really bright colors. And of course, you can feel easily on the fish if it's firm or it's strawberry or how it's done. It needs to smell like the ocean.
Smell like ocean, yeah, exactly.
You need to smell the ocean.
Exactly. What is the difference between the farmed salmon and the wild salmon? Because here in Hungary, in our shelves, you may find both of them.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference?
Yeah, so the farmed fish is almost regulated with how they eat, the diet, what content they have with the food, with nutrition they have. The wild one often consists more fat. It's more hard in the fish because it's swimming a lot. And often when I grew up with, my father was always, when we have wild fish, we always boiled the wild red fish, if it was salmon or trout or whatever it was.
So not grill it, not...
Because it was so much fattiness on it, and it kept it really, really juicy and moist.
What part of the fish you prefer most?
I really like the belly side, because, as a chef, you enjoy meat or proteins with a fat content. It's like the tuna toro, the belly fat.
The turtle.
Yeah.
Turtle.
Yeah, so you can say it. The belly fat of the salmon is really great. It's firm. It's delicious consistency. You also get this flavoring really properly well. Just
my last question about salmon. Was salmon as a main ingredient at Bocuse-d'Or when you were competing? No, not in the Bocuse-d'Or. We had it in the selection in Norway, salmon. I think last time the salmon was in Bocuse-d'Or was in 2008 in Europe. They had salmon or trout. We will come back at the end that what are your expectations regarding the next Bocuse-d'Or. You just mentioned that you were 9 years old when you first met with Bocuse-d'Or. What happened there? Also, my father was a chef, and I remember at that time that this was probably in 1999. And then Terje Næss from Norway won gold for Norway in that year. And I remember my father was so proud talking about, yes, Norway has taken a gold in the Bocuse-d'Or. But nobody else in or outside the business or the hospitality industry knew so much about the Bocuse-d'Or, because you didn't have the iPhone and the TikTok and Instagram and everything, social media platforms. So you read it in the newspaper. But it was so small notice in the newspaper. But I remember he was so proud that
shit, Norway has taken gold in a big competition. And since then, I was like really curious about this competition. Always wanted to strive for it. But my father was like, yeah, that's a far way to go. But we'll start with the basics and then we can agree to each other if the time is in that you can go to the culinary school.
What was your strategy when you went to first Bocuse-bajnok final in your country?
So my strategy started actually when I was apprentice. When I went to apprenticeship, I chose a place where I knew it was a Bocuse-bajnok chef. So my former chef was Charles Chessem. He won the gold in 2003. And then I knew at that time that if I wanted to go to Bocuse, I have to show this guy what I'm capable to do. Just push the hours, put the effort inside it, put the passion, put everything, and probably he will just be more and more confident about me and push me to the right directions to how to navigate inside this one. I competed a lot of competition before the Bocuse-bajnok because you don't actually just go straight into Bocuse-bajnok. You need some certain experience.
Certain steps what you have to.
Somebody is rarely competing, somebody is competing a lot. It's not a set rule how to be there, but you need to have a lot of qualification. You need to be calm. You need to have the right mindset. You need to have like a total package around you being inside of competition. Because inside this competition is really high pressure, is really high stress level, and you need to navigate and calculate everything if you want to be on a level that is high enough.
When we see a Bocuse-bajnok competition, it's really what you just mentioned. The pressure is extremely high, huge noise. The fans are shouting, and really like a soccer game. How do you train yourself to really take out these external factors?
I think that also comes with experience. The more you experience life is actually life experience. How much you have traveled around, how much you're speaking with people, how much you're cooking, how much you are studying, how much you are cooking. The more you do things in life, the more confident you are. If you're not confident, then you cannot handle this pressure. But also you need to visualize the journey, visualize the trip. You also need to I give a shit about the people around me when you are in the competition, because you need to create this own zone. This own zone is just your zone, and then you just need to shut everything around you away for a couple of hours, or else you're gonna be distracted, or someone will psych you out. And yeah.
Actually, I have to say a story. One of our first Bocuse-bajnok candidate was Tamás Szél.
Yeah.
And I delivered the main products what we supplied for the team. And I just entered the kitchen when he was in practice. And I said hello to everybody. He didn't say a word. I was pissed a little bit. And as soon as the training was over, put down his knife, turned to me and said, "Hi, Ákos." And I just realized, and it was same thing with all the good candidates around the world and in Hungary, that you have to really, really focus and take out everything from your surroundings. Sorry for this.
Yeah, no problem.
Story,
you need to be in the focus and in the mode, because inside your brain, you are 10 steps before the timeline you are now. Because you need to calculate and see the process of it.
You have had 2 Bocuse-bajnok Europe gold medal, 2 Bocuse-bajnok bronze in Lyon in the world final. Could you share with us some interesting facts or stories behind the scenes? Because what the spectator sees, that of course there is the fans are shouting and there's a big, huge loudness, and 10 station there and a team of 3 are cooking. But what's behind it? Also
behind the scenes is a lot of work. It's a lot of struggling. people and spectators and fans they will always just see the tip of the iceberg. But before this competition, it's a tremendously big sacrifice. It requires a lot of passion, hard work, and always, you are going to a competition, and then on the competition day, it's each country against each country, but also a fun fact, when you are finished with the competition and go behind the curtains, it's a great and big community. Everybody is sharing knowledge, having good friendship, open a bottle of champagne, celebrating each other, and it's like a big community that is taking care of each other.
What was your biggest takeaway from Bocuse-bajnok competition?
So I think the biggest knowledge and things I have brought with me in the past or future is like good relationships, quality of great products, people, culture, how to adapt to different types of stages, and also like traveling around the world now. It's easier because you have more knowledge about people around the world. You have more relations. Your network is much bigger, so it creates an environment that is great to travel in, and you're always feeling welcome with each country you are visiting.
Regarding Bocuse-bajnok, my last question, that will be some more, I am sure, at the end. You were invited by METRO Gasztroakadémia and Bence Dalnoki, who is the METRO chef ambassador. Actually, when we were discussing the potential candidate whom to invite, I have to say that that you were the first, and you accepted right away.
Yeah.
How is your relation? I am sure that it's part of your decision that you have a good relationship with Bence. How do you see Bence?
Bence is quite great chef. He has done great work and changed a bit of the traditional cooking, what we expected to see from Hungary, if we can say it like this. But he's a humble chef, pushing it really hard, and he got this total package. He's good with his flavoring, he's good with his techniques, and he also is great communicating and have a respect for each other.
Did you compete to each other? No, you didn't compete each other yet.
Yet.
So then what I said, that my last question, but I have to ask you, by accidentally I saw your phone, and the background was the gold Bocuse-bajnok picture. Are you going to compete again?
It's a lot of people asking me about this question, but it has been a dream since I was 9 years old, and also what I mentioned earlier, you create different values the older you get. So we'll see with the years, but until now I'm enjoying the life and seeing it from the other side, and maybe the confidence and convenience will make it happen, but we'll see. Time will show.
Let's talk about your future, which is based on several times the challenges what you faced on before. What were the most challenging part of your culinary life?
My father was a chef, as mentioned. He actually didn't want me to go to culinary school or go to this hospitality industry because it was really tough and really hard. I knew it, but time is changed. He was a chef comparing to how it's to being a chef today. But he died when I was 23 years old, so he never experienced me in the Bocuse-bajnok. We had a common dream together that I wanted to go to Bocuse and he wanted to follow me on this journey. But he died when I was 23 years old, and he saw me compete in the Norwegian and the Nordic championship. And I took gold in these two competitions and was really proud. And from there it was just, okay, now I just need to push it alone because he was my mentor and support and everything. The second one is probably around, as every chef in the world and every hospitality and every industry is around, was the COVID times. being a candidate in the middle of COVID, it was really tough. It was hard because you were living day by day. The economics was fucked. All the income was just cut down the bone. So it was hard to navigate. But I think we managed eventually because all human beings they adapt the environment they are in. You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. So shit, we had to be strong. We didn't have any more choice to just rely on it gonna be sorted out. So that's the 2 times that been challenging in my career.
And mentally, how did you handle COVID?
It was really tough. I have to say it was.
No, because you had actually there was no open restaurants.
No,
there was
no income.
No place to practice for Bocuse d'Or since it's delayed.
Yeah, it was postponed in 9 months, and you didn't knew like you have to live day by day, and of course the mentality you are like disappointed because you cannot control the environment around you. You have to adapt to it, and it's hard being strong. Like you have to be the strongest guy for the rest of the team because you are the team leader, you are the captain of the ship. You have to like navigate through this one, and they will follow. But it's hard to navigate when it's just foggy and it's a storm coming ahead. You don't know and you cannot see the end of the goal.
How do you continue to evolve and challenge yourself as a chef?
To be a chef, you always need to be curious. You always need to be curious, not always about food, but also culture, products, how the world is, how the world economics is, how this affects how you work, how the business industry is. Everything affects each other. But you always need to be curious and you always need to have passion for doing it. If you don't have passion, then you can easily just get bored of it. So, of course, to have passion, it's easy for me to say because, I have passion for it. But sometimes in between, you lose a little bit about the passion because you can suddenly go through some drama in life or go through a COVID or something or whatever life brings you. But I think it's easily to have good people around you, good friends, good family to support you. Because life is like a roller coaster. You never know how the days are or how the weeks are. You never know what smacks you in the face. But I think the more you experience, the more you work, the more you travel, the more curious you are about life and cooking and products and farmers or whatever it is, the more knowledge you have. And the more knowledge you have, the more experience you are to handle things that will come to your life.
Tell me a few words about how is the Norwegian hospitality industry working now? Is it stable? Is it increasing? What is the status in Norwegian?
Of course, it's a tough industry. It's a tough business. That's of course, and of course, doing this recruitment of the new generation is also. You need to adapt a different type of world. We are living in a different world than before. And after COVID, it hit really hard, but also I think people are more embracing the opportunity to go out and eat. And of course, the world economics around the world, what is happening around us, it affects the business, it affects the world economic, and also it affects everybody's use of restaurants and go out eating and dining. So people are more stubborn about how they use their money now than comparing to before. And that's because of their mortgage went up, the taxes, it costs more to live these days, electricity and everything. And that's why if you are not included and not aware of the world problems around, then you cannot understand it. But if you understand it, then you have to adapt more to how people can afford to go out eating.
You mentioned the new generation. How do you see the new generation as a guest? And how do you see the new generation as an employee? Let's talk about the guests.
The guests. So the new generation of the guests is like more, they enjoy food, of course. They enjoy the company around them. But I think they are more experienced regarding the multicultural of the world, because the source of what they get information from, like TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or everything else, is more easier to see what people experience the other side of the world, comparing to the older generation that hasn't had this type of social media before, because it was harder to experience and travel before than it's now. Now you can travel to social media and see what people are eating or doing, or with just a click on the phone.
You said that it's quite important for the new generation as a guest, the social media. Are you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on social media, but not so much regarding to just scroll around. I use it like connecting with people around the world, and also to get inspiration. You get inspiration of what people are doing, where they're traveling, what type of products they are doing. It can be like techniques.
And what about the new generation as an employee, as a young chef?
Yeah, as an employee, you can see it's a different generation. They have more knowledge, because the knowledge also comes with experience, and the experience they have experiences throughout social media platforms. They can easily compare to each other what are that type of restaurant doing, or what is he traveling with, in which type of recipes using. It's easier to connect and to get more information of how to do things. But also we are living in a world that is more like psychological speaking with them than shouting, because before, in the old school time, it was a lot of shouting. It was a lot of people shouting if you don't doing the right word. Now these times you are like more like psychological speaking. You have to take care of them, because you want to create something that is sustainability. To shout to people is not sustainability in this business. It doesn't build a great team. It doesn't build a good spirit in the hospitality. So you need to more like have a great communication and probably show them on a different set and a different time.
What advice would you give to a young chef who wants to really work in a fine dining restaurant? You
need to have a passion, be curious of what you're doing. Always seek new things, if it's experience or questions or anything. And consistency and patience is really important, because nothing comes over the night. It took me 15 years to be at the Bocuse store, and that doesn't come overnight. Have a end goal that is sky limit, but also create some small targets and small goals underneath it, because you have to go the steps. And then at least at some time, at one point, you will succeed. The harder you work, the better you get. And all people are created equal, but some people work harder than others. And that's the game of it.
What is your next step in your culinary journey?
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to have
besides Bocuse-bopor.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm starting a studio now in my home country, Sandnes, where I have want to create some concepts and have private dinners and everything. And of course, I want to have a Michelin star restaurant one day. But to have a Michelin star restaurant, you also need to have the economic fundamental laying there. So we start from scratch and build up with some restaurants, and then eventually at the end we can create a Michelin restaurant.
If we see it in years, when is the target when you want to reach the star?
It's hard to say.
Because you said you're really planned. When I saw actually, just for the listeners and the viewers, that for this masterclass you brought your mise en place. I mean, everybody was amazed how it was structured, and clear. So I am sure that you want to reach the start, and you already have the steps, the small steps what you just mentioned before, that what you have to achieve first.
Yeah, I think I'm a really structured guy. I have a lot of discipline and I'm structured, and that's the way my life has been, because Bocuse-bajnok also adapted me to be structured. If you want to be on that level, if you want to be with the big boys, you need to have discipline, consistency, and focus. And then structure comes in. And I live a very structured life, and that's because I have a hectical life. And that's my choice. That's how I work. But also, you need also sometimes to just give a shit sometimes, because you never know what life hits you. It can require that you are set back with 1 year or 2 years. You can see as COVID, how did you navigate in 2 years? If I said I want a Michelin star in 5 years and suddenly something force majeure will happen with the world and set you 3 years behind, then you cannot reach it. But around 5 years, it would be great to have some sort of plan, or if it's a Michelin restaurant or something like this. But of course, life fucks you up sometime and then you have to adapt. But that's basically a plan going in, and then a restaurants to have the economics, having a money machine that can finance like a Michelin star restaurant.
Okay, at the end, just some quick ones. What is your favorite ingredients?
So my favorite ingredients, I would think it's like langoustine. I really enjoy langoustine.
What is your favorite cooking method?
I think cooking around this barbecue vision is like a favorite method of cooking.
You just mentioned this is your 8th time in Hungary. You have visited several restaurants. What is the food what you never want to miss in Hungary?
Goulash. I really like goulash. You know, chefs always enjoy these stewy things.
With one spoon?
Yeah, with everything what you can eat. Yeah, comfort food that you can eat with a spoon and everything is like really enjoyable. In the late past times, I'm a chocolate guy, and I really like this somloy. Somloy, that I really, really enjoy.
What's your favorite beverage?
I really enjoy wines from Tokaj, and especially the new type of Tokaj that is come now, that is like dry.
The ferment.
Yeah,
and
new type of making. And also I tried some new champagne method of making wines here in Hungary, that it was really great and good, over my expectations.
I just got the right to announce here in our podcast, this is not the last time you come here in the next weeks, months, since you were asked to be part of the Hungarian Bocuse-bajnok team as a mentor, as an advisor. How do you see the Hungarian team? Roland, Noel, and László.
It's a great team. Great chefs, have the passion for cooking. I was with them in the European final. And of course, these few months we have there was getting to know each other, how type of cooking they are doing, how they are working. So I'm really looking forward for the Lyon trip and just finalize and making the details ready and make them more even sharper for the Lyon, because now we already know the basics and know each other. Now it's just to dive into the really small detailed things, and the concept and the theme is coming and everything.
The theme, the first theme will come beginning of October.
Yeah, 4th of October, I think.
4th of October. What is your bet? What will be the main ingredient?
It's not easy to say, but also I think, as mentioned earlier, we have to be aware of Mother Nature, what provides and everything. And of course, it's a lot of different things, how things will get to the table regarding main ingredients. But I had a thought that it was going to be a vegetarian platter.
Never been.
And yeah, you never know. The last 3-4 periods of Bocuse d'Or has been a lot of different things, odd and not so common things. And then
like children menu,
children
like
takeaway. I had the takeaway.
Yeah, the takeaway.
And the year before that, I had this chartreuse. It's a classical, typical French cuisine cooking. But I think, a vegetarian platter and maybe chicken on the plate.
My bet is duck.
Duck
as a platter, and some really strange thing on the plate.
Yeah.
So Christian, thank you very much for the talk.
Thank you for being here.
Really happy to experience and see your passion, how you manage your kitchen life, but not only the kitchen, your entire way of life, how you handle that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see more of the country and experience the culinary heritage here. Thank you.
Thank you.